Hey, ladies, EDCI 706 L2Z. It's the week 4 instructional video. Dr. Palermo coming to you from the home office to talk a little bit about Hall and Horde and my other friends, Ferreter and Graham. PLCs, when we meet in 2 weeks or so. By the way, I wanted to make a note. Today, as I'm recording this and sending it out to you, it is September 21st, which on my calendar says Peace Day. Namaste, peace. I hope you find peace personally and professionally, and a prayer for peace today. But PLCs. Have you read part 3? Here's a real interesting soap opera to start it off, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. Unless Karen was completely misreading her, Jennifer was expressing some serious nonverbal cues of frustration. The team was talking about a literature unit to begin teaching in January after the winter break, divvying up responsibility for planning. Throughout the conversation, Jennifer's body language had been closed and negative. Arms crossed, sour look. Chair backed away from the rest of the circle. Hoping to draw her into the conversation, Karen reached out. So, Jennifer, do you agree with the decision that we should start the series of activities focusing on problematic vocabulary from that book? Well, actually, no. The table looked up. You get it. Page 93. Read on. And are there a lot of personalities in the PLCs at your school? First off, this assumes that you have PLCs in your school, that they're functioning groups, that there are actually tables of teachers sitting in a lounge in their classroom somewhere during planning period or after school talking about instruction, sharing common assessments, talking about the curriculum or mapping things, doing instructional work together. If that's not the case, then establishing PLCs is going to be the task for your PLCPA. But I hope that you gathered from the first part of this book that they, again, assume that there's some sort of functioning of teams, groups of teachers at your school collaborating around student instruction some way. If that's not happening, then establishing PLCs is the goal. Part 3 that you were assigned to read this week gets into the personalities. You know, does the Karen-Jennifer conflict sound like a personality conflict at your school? Is this an opportunity for a crucial confrontation or conversation, talking to one another? It's difficult either way. But you're going to find this is the reality of trying to lead a change process like PLCs at your school. When it comes to the PLC-PA, my suggestion is start small and KISS. Keep it simple, silly. Taking the temperature and trying to determine a baseline for where your school might be in some form of teaming or collaboration, whether you call it PLCs or not, and then improving in some small snail's pace incremental way how to get better as a PLC. There, again, what I'm urging you to do is use the Ferreter and Graham book as the templates and things in here wherever they may apply to you. In part 3 on page 111, there's a team agenda template. Now, I can show you a facilitative leadership agenda that lots of folks use for planning the work of PLCs, but this is a way to plan to start from ground zero if teams at your school have never had an agenda for a meeting. Okay, so determining what to talk about, how many items, reasons for celebration. It's a simple little form. It's in the book on page 111, 12, 13, 14. The team roles to consider, managing a team-based conflict. These are all reproducibles that you can put to work straight from Ferreter and Graham. Oh, by the way, when you're writing your PLCPA, planning to do this stuff, and then suggesting or referencing, I'm going to use the survey from Graham and Ferreter, chapter 3. Good, good. Don't reinvent the wheel and use these tools to the best of your ability as you plan what you want to do at your school. The PLCPA is the next piece coming up that you'll be expected to present publicly in our peer reviews on October 1st. Please bring a draft PLCPA then. And so that means as you're working on FCEPA and your implementation of the PE, lots of change. I hope you're working on all of those things. PLCPA needs to be front loaded for October 1st. So that's coming up soon. And there is a task here in Blackboard. No, I can't do that. Okay. There is a task related to that. Please give us an update. Where do you think you're going to focus your work for your PLCPA, your prioritized area, and what are your initial thoughts? Do that thought activity, but that's what you should be prepared to share in class on the 1st as well. So how to apply what you're learning from Ferrier and Graham to an improvement effort at your school. And then Hall and Horde, oh boy, stages of concern, SOC. If this were the type of program that had a final exam, I'd be shouting, this is going to be on the exam right now. Hall and Horde, stages of concern in chapter 4 is a big idea. So again, bear with me on my narrative. My kids have been doing terrific in using mathematics language to probe the reasoning of others. Now Jose and I are talking about bringing our 2 classes together to see how well they do in checking the reasoning of others, said Kim White, fifth grade teacher at Island Park Elementary. Uh-oh. What's the principal talking about now? Well, I have to stop using what I've been doing and start using this new stuff, said Mary Jo Rodriguez, about common formative assessments. I hadn't thought about it. I have so many other things going on. Oh no! Said Helen Morse, who's also a yearbook staff advisor. Folks, implementing change, stages of concern, big idea on page 85, table 4.1. Describes again, I think what you will have experienced is reality in your school. Folks are all over the place about a new implementing a change, whatever it is. You say Common Core to folks and you're going to have a whole range of love it, think it's good, to hate it, it's the devil. So that's unconcerned, informational, personal, management, consequence, collaboration, refocusing. These are the stages of concern. Read it, know it, apply it to your learning as far as the change efforts that you're trying to implement at your school, or you're watching your principal, the leadership team try to implement. Describe what you see, and how do you gather data about these changes? This is all the big idea of chapter 4 also. There are techniques for assessing stages of concern for individuals at your school. One-legged interviews. I've mentioned them, now here they are. OLI are explained in chapter 4. Read it, know it, love it, use it. Open-ended concern statements is using a brief form. It's on 92 to just ask folks about their reaction to whatever change is happening. What's going on and how do you feel about that? And then there's a more formal third version, stages of concern questionnaire, that actually has validation and reliability instruments, and you could use that to, again, gauge how folks are feeling, where their stages of concern may be for implementing this new change. You're implementing a bunch of changes, all right? Cannot minimize them. You're implementing a bunch of changes at your school. You're asking folks to change the way they may PLC. You're asking them to involve more family and community in the FCEP project. You're monitoring. You may not be in charge of the program that you're evaluating for your PE, but that is a change effort. Program is trying to do something different that wasn't done before. So that's a change effort. What are folks saying about that change effort in the program evaluation? How are you gathering data about that? One-legged interviews. Again, let's use what we've got. So back to the text, Palermo. Hall and Horde, stages of concern and ways to assess the stages of concern. It's a big idea, and I want to see it in your papers. Write about it. Reference the text, please. Graham and Ferrier use those tools to assess your current state of PLCs at your school, and then that should be the base for the action plan for your PLCPA, which again we need to start thinking about and sharing when we meet October 1st. That's all for this week. Palermo trying Zoom. Bye.